Morning, gentlemen. Today's Saturday, January 12th. WX Live, webinar number 43. And Andy,
Yeah,
in the orange is ready to talk at us.
since my wife is down in the valley in Texas, and currently in an hour going to be riding Harleys in 80-degree weather, that rotten woman. I'm going to show y'all how to do some stuff. We've been working on mobile stuff for a while now, and I've been kind of going back and forth with several pieces with it. Trying to get the data to look right, trying to get the visual to look decent, because you can't really design it on one screen and then how it should look on your one screen and then show it on your device and it look the same. So there's been a lot of kind of going back and forth. A couple of weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, we went through a process where we were showing how to get the data from your application to the Android device using web services built with WinDev, and that works out nicely. I mean, we can certainly do it. And since then, Glenn has actually taken it to another deal and it's got the images going back and forth. And I figure we'll put up something up on it so that way you can show how to transfer images from your laptop, computer, whatever it is, to your Android device, so that way you can use it in your application or however you want to do it. But it's and Glenn has done that, and he's also kind of emulated the HAdd, HModify, HDelete, whereas I just sprawly went after it. So I kind of expect him one day to show you the pieces for the HAdd, HDelete stuff, HModify stuff. And I, on the other hand, am going to show you how to do it either the hard way or the easy way, whichever way you want to look at it. But it works nicely, works wonderfully. What you're going to get out of today is how to communicate back and forth with your web service and update your data. The second thing is that since this is going to be wrapped around the project that we're starting up and kind of looking to do or looking to design out and do for the WxDevcon, you will be able to download the Android section of this software, use it on your Android, and follow us along as we do the development. So you'll be able to actually have it on your Android device, fire it up, see what tasks and stuff that we're all doing on this thing, and watch the development process and how the Android device fits into what we're going to do for the Chatterbox, the newsgroup Chatterbox. So I'll let anybody down this. And I've made some user IDs and stuff for the Project Pro in order for you to go ahead and use the Android and not have any privileges at all, but use it. So to move forward, let's go back a little bit. Let's talk about a few things. What this application is right here is the web service that produces the data. And we're going to go over how we get tasks from our data and then send them over to the mobile device. Then we'll turn around and show how we update those tasks in the mobile device and send them back, basically. To recap slightly on this, when you're sending data from your web service to your Android device and wish to use the serialization, deserialization, which I recommend from the standpoint is it encrypts your data for number one. It seems to send it fairly quickly. I mean, it's a lot faster than what I thought it would be. And it seamlessly deserializes back into an array or wherever you've got it going into without you having to do a lot. Now, it doesn't work 100% of the time. In fact, I've got one section in here that in the mobile device that I've had to manually parse back out the XML because of the deserialization would fail. And I haven't quite got into why yet, but I'm going to continue to look at it. But in order to get around the problem, I just did it manually, and we're going to go over that too, so that way you can see how, again, how I managed to extract out the XML piece of this and put in the data. But it is a basic, straightforward process. You've got a buffer variable that you need to use. We've got a return XML as a string. I use class management to manage all of my data, so I have a task as my project item class. I put my filters for the project, who the member is that's supposed to be getting this, and whether or not I want it completed or not completed on the task. And then I fetch all the data. When it fetches the data, it is put into an array of items. And let's just kind of show that real quick, and you can see that, and we'll come back. Project item class has got an array of the project item structure, and all it does is do a select statement that is god-awful and then throw it into the array. Pretty straightforward. Now, when that's done and is fetched, depending upon how I have passed the parameters, whether I want it serialized as XML straight, whether or not I want it as a buffer, and then I got another case in case they send nothing, they get it as a buffer anyway. We're using the buffer because it's, in essence, we're talking from an Android written for mobile, written by WinDev mobile to a WinDev web service, so I can serialize it. I can talk to each other pretty nicely. If I had another software piece or somebody third party wanted to get in, I would have them pass the XML, so that way they would get back raw XML that they could parse out however they wished. That's what we're doing. Program-wise, how that is fetched is fairly straightforward. In the project item class that I have on the mobile device, this is the mobile project here. You have the return buffer, which is a buffer again. I'm clearing out the array of the task, which is the same project item, and I'm calling the fetch items to bring it up. When I fetch it, I'm setting who I am, my project. I'm turning off the flag, so I'm turning on the flag, so I only want the uncompleted stuff, and I'm setting buffer so I can bring that back. I deserialize, and I'm done. That's all there is to it. It's in the array. Last class we had on this, and you can go back to a previous recording and see this. You'll see where we trace this out, and we can see the result set coming back doing this. So if you're at a point right now where you say, well, I don't know what you did here, Andy, that's fine. Go back to the WxLive US site. There's a previous recording where I went through this process, and you can see how I built this from scratch, okay, and get caught up to what I'm doing today. On the other side of the coin, we've got the save record. Now, this is a little bit different. The save record, and we're going to start from beginning to finish since I'm going to try to save it from the mobile device and bring it here. The save record, I am sending in the record, which is my structure, and the structure is defined. Here is my structure, okay? That structure has got all the fields for the project that I want in there. I pass that structure along with what action that I'm doing to it. That's either add, change, or delete. I serialize that record into the send buffer, which is a buffer variable, and I send it to my update task web service method. If I don't get a ret val correctly, I show whatever error came back. That's what I do. that's, you're thinking, okay, well, this is as simple as it gets. Now, to what's receiving that? What are we doing on the receive side? Even to me, this is about as simple as you can get as well. I've got a update global task right here. This is what I'm pulling back. Here is my XML data that I'm sending it, which is that record and the action type that I have on there. I've declared my item class. I have declared my record structure. I really don't need the project item, but I need the record structure. And I've declared that the record is project item structure, which matches the same one I've got in my mobile project. Both of those match. I deserialize what came in, and what I'm doing is I'm taking the record here, the same structure, same exact structure, deserializing what I passed in as a buffer as PDS XML. That is XML in a buffer string. When that's done, I can check my action type, and I'll explain why I did it this way in just a second. I move all of the fields from my record over to my project item record, and then I save it through my class variable. All right, now, why did I do it this way? KCQ delete. Well, right now I don't allow the delete, so that's not going to happen. So everything is either an add or a change. It's either an insert or a change. That's all it is. I go ahead and do the refresh by ID, and it shouldn't find it and on an add, but if it is on a change, it's going to find it, and then I update all the fields that I may have changed, and I go through the rec save. The rec save is all class variables. That checks the action type. It moves it from memory to the DB file name, and we do the add, change, and delete, which is there's your modify functionality. Again, if you're kind of lost at this point, wondering where I'm at, this is another one where I go through the classes that we built back on WxDevcon. You can go back there and review how these classes are used and built. I think there's 2 or 3 of them, Arnold. How many are there? I think there's a couple of them at least. Hello? I think there's at least a couple of them out there. I think Arnold went and got breakfast. So there's a couple, 2 or 3, you can go back to see what I did with the classes. The reason why I use the classes is because I really don't have to code the same thing over and over and over again. I can implement the classes and go. It's pretty straightforward, makes it easier for the both of us, and all I do is call the same data items no matter which way I want to look at it, and everybody's happy. So that makes these statements very, very easy to accomplish. Okay? Now, let's go back and let's see a few things and how this is going to work. Yes, I do. Okay. Bring my simulator up here. Everybody can see that. Can everybody hear me? Put in my email address. Okay. And we log in. All right. Now I'm using the action bar up here, which has, I have the exit. I have different tabs that I can go through. I can go through different areas. Stuff like this is what I've got. So this is all pulling from actual data. So I go back to the tasks, and this gives me a listing of all the projects. And I'm just going to take my little Android app, and this has the listing of each one of the project items that has to be done. Okay. If I click it, which is the same thing as touching it on the pad, I can bring up the actual edit form that I have for this and put in ticket should be reassigned if security is greater than 4. And then all I have to do is save it. Okay? Now that process, I'm going through the debugger here. You notice that I've come through and I've saved all of the record items into my record structure. This is my structure that I'm using here, that project item structure. Then I'm going to go through the rec save, which is that same process, which comes up, and I now got the action type. I got the project item structure. I'm going to step through, and I'm going to go down. I'm going to serialize it. I'll call my process, check my red val. I have a success, and I'm back in, and I'm done. I go back. Simple as that. Now, let's check and see what has happened to the record on my data side. Fire that up. Okay, here's Project Pro. I go to the same Android app for the desktop. I go to my tasks. I look at my assign a ticket, and there it is. There's my change right there. So you can see where I changed that, and it has updated my desktop program. So now I've got a full range communications between my mobile device, my desktop, and my database doing it this way. And I can use my mobile device now to manage how I do my projects. I can use my mobile device to manage whatever software that I want to manage for business. And I think that personally that a lot of these things are going to go start pushing to where we have a lot more business apps are starting to start looking to come up the pike here on Android apps and iPads and things like this. One of the things that we've been looking at doing is in the trucking business is writing something that would go into the trucks on my brother-in-law's trucking company for all the messages, Google Maps, all kinds of things that they can use for routing and stuff like that. So there's a lot of business apps that have a great potential when it comes to this market, a huge potential when it comes to this market. But that's as simple as it goes. So right now, go ahead and formulate any questions you have. I'm going to get out of this and bring up the other one. And we'll fire this up for WxDevcon, and we'll kind of take a look at it real quick.
Hey, Andy.
Yes, sir.
So we could basically take this and change the target device and run it on the iPad then.
I am hoping so. I don't have a Mac. So Glenn, albeit that he hasn't really know it yet, but he's going to volunteer to help and convert it over into the Mac, and we're going to see what happens.
Did you hear that? Did you hear that, Glenn?
You like the way I volunteered him, didn't you?
I did. It's better than you volunteering me.
But I do. I would. Yeah. Yeah, I know. It's better than volunteering you. It's either him or Rob Berry, one of the two. Both of them have Macs. Both of them. One of the two is going to get suckered into doing it. I just saw her as do it.
Well, you could.
Product placement. So either way, we're going to do it that way.
Well, Glenn's going to go do a iOS talk here on web services in a couple weeks. Yeah.
Good. I don't have anything in private. I don't have that done yet. I don't think it's going to show. No, it's not going to show on this. I got a little bit more work to do here. Okay. Is everybody just dumbfounded, don't know what's going on, or what?
Because you did all the work, it looks so damn simple.
It actually is. It's a lot more simpler than what I thought it would be. I'm going to be honest with you. It is a lot easier than what I thought it would be. The biggest thing is that you have some blind testing, and this is where that file, that trace to a file, comes in handy. Because when you start talking to a web service, even if it's yours, get out of that. What the heck? Especially if it's yours, you can. I don't want to be in the debugger, man. See you later. You can certainly get into hard trying to figure out whether it's actually working or not. I think I got some. Hang on here a second, guys. Minimize you. Must be you. I don't know what you're doing here, machine. You're wonky on me. Thank you. Quit all that blinking. Quit that. Thinks I got the control pressed down. There we go. All right. The process or the movement of the records themselves back and forth, a lot of this stuff is taken care of by the serialization and deserialization. Okay, that process basically compacts everything, makes it binary, sends it as fast as it can across there, and then it unpacks it. And as long as you have the same structure on both sides that you're working with, you don't really have an issue. It just really kind of smoothly goes. The biggest thing is that you're working with sections of code. You're basically working with areas that you got one piece to do this, one piece to do that, and you're coming in. You're not going to come in as a global and then go wherever you want. You're coming into a piece or basically a procedure only. So you got to think that everything that you've got to have to make it work has got to be within that procedure. Now, there is some differences when we started going through web services earlier. In one of the things that one of the deals, one of the sessions we went through, it was kind of thrown out there that you had to have your connections and everything else inside here. No, if you use the class methodology, you don't, and that's by just assigning the connection here. We're fine with that. We don't have to do anything more with that. So I haven't had to do anything like that to get the connection strings and all that stuff. I think I never had to do that. But it really is not that much code. I mean, to send data is as much as actually all you really need is that much code to send data, and to update data and get it back, other than the record structure itself, moving fields from one record structure to another, you're not doing much there either. It's just a deserialization to get it in the record.
Andy, is there a way to do something like a deep assign like we used to do in Clarion, where you don't have to list all those?
I don't know. I've thought about that once or twice. I have not seen it yet. I was trying to look for a deep assign, and maybe somebody out there has ran across it. I wish there was. I've tried just assigning prec equals rec.
The whole.
and it doesn't like
The whole
doing
record didn't like
that.
it, huh?
Yeah.
Well, and it matched
Yeah.
field to field perfectly.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You would think they would have
Yeah.
something like that.
It may have to deal with the object thing. Okay. You know, the memory. Let me kind of, let's see here. It would be memory. No, object to memory. Might be able to do something like this. I just thought about this. No. Which is it?
It'd be the other way around, wouldn't it?
I've
It
got it in
would
my
be
glasses. I'm trying to remember which one it is. File to memory, memory to file. That's what it is. It's memory to file is what I'm looking for. Okay. So, memory to file. And your screen running slow.
maybe I should turn your picture off. Maybe that's slowing it down.
It's not the image. It's my typing is slow for some reason. It's just falling behind. You see, you got memory. You got the name of the structure class. Well, that's going to be my PREC. And then my file name should be rec. So it may well, and I haven't tried it, but we'll certainly try it now. Do rec there.
That wasn't a choice, was it?
Yeah, there it is. Okay. Let's see, but it doesn't like it, see? It says no syntax compatible. So that's not going to work either. That would have been the closest one so far. Again, it's just I'll play with it. I'll see if I can't find one, but there's got to be something around. I can't believe that they would never have something like a deep assign. It's just I haven't ran across it yet. And for the most part, till I got into this, most of the things that I was doing was screen to file, file to screen, and then the memory to object. That kind of stuff is, things that I've been doing with it, and I really hadn't need to do a big chunk of assignments, to be honest with you. And Pete has found it.
Doesn't really look like it helps. That's showing you just listing all the elements almost like parameters. You still have to specify each one.
Yeah. I don't see necessarily anything with that. Yeah. It's assign H2 item function, but that's it's probably in there somewhere. Okay. And it's just a matter of doing the Fringlish translation to find it. Okay. If looking at everything there, but hopefully we'll run across it. Like I said, for the most part, since I wrote the classes, I really hadn't had to. I probably wrote 4 of these, so I really hadn't been a big deal for me one way or another. But yeah, it's something that we need to look for sure. We need to look for it, and then go from there. Okay. On the WxDevcon coming up this fall, Pete, you had your document. We were going to kind of go over that too, wasn't we?
If you're ready to, yeah. It's on.
Yeah, a little
Did
bit.
you want to? You can
Google
show
Drive?
your screen.
Yeah.
Andy's got it.
No, I've got it here
Okay.
too. We're sharing it. We're sharing
we have this thing called technology.
Whoa. Are you collaborating? I can't believe that.
Yeah. We've been collaborating for years. We just, we can now do it digitally without, it's probably safer for everyone involved.
Yeah, less bombs.
So are you done with your presentation?
No, we're going to talk about all this other stuff.
Take a breath.
I
think he could start a second presentation. I think that's kind of where
Do you
his
want to?
question was. That way he can
Yeah, I can
have
post
the one
two
about the
different
class and
things.
the one about the upcoming DevCon.
All right.
Two
If
different.
you want to start a
Yeah,
second one, let's do
let
it.
me stop. Let me stop this
Let's do it.
recording. Anyway, any more questions on this mobile stuff? Anybody?
I will be on the way, on the chat rooms for it, obviously. And if somebody needs some help, I'll be glad to do so. I'll be glad to help you. I will post up some code snippets and things like that on my blog to show how to do this as well with some pictures. And that way you've got a little bit of
I
tutorial.
love pictures, man. Pictures.
Yeah. Probably not quite as involved with what Pete does, but he likes y'all better.
Ooh. Okay.
No, actually, he don't. He don't want you asking him questions. That's why he does it so detailed.
Still doesn't work.
Yeah, we still ask them questions.
So,
okay.
yeah, I say go ahead. Continue to ask Pete questions. Continue constantly.
Okay, so this was Andy's talk on the mobile section. We'll be back for part 2. Stop.